Hey guys, welcome to another video. Let's go over the top stocks that I'm looking at for next week. It's going to be a combination of stocks that I think are going to go up, some that are going to go down, but these are all very interesting stocks that I'm looking at for next week for various reasons. Let's start with GameStop. So last week GameStop ran up crazy. You can see it was at $20, $21, and it doubled. Now it started to pull back since then, but I'm watching GameStop because the reason it went up is that one of the guys from Chewy, the company Chewy, they joined the board of directors for GameStop, and Chewy owns a stake in GameStop. That's it. GameStop's also reported that their holiday sales were down 2% as opposed to last year. So basically, you're saying that because someone from Chewy is now more involved in GameStop, and they were already involved, but they're more involved now, that the stock doubles. So I'm not really understanding that. My bet is that GameStop is going to go down next week. So I'm considering getting puts for GameStop. After hours, it's up 1.3% at the time of this recording, but I think that in general, the stock is going to go down next week. So what you could do, if you're not sure if it's going to go up or down, you can get a straddle. That's an option chain in Robinhood and Webull that you're able to do. Basically, you're betting that the stock is going to move heavy in either an upward or downward direction. But in my mind, I think that GameStop is going to go down. Look, you can see it's very overbought, and looks like the RSI is coming back down to lower levels. The momentum on the MACD is up, but I think that GameStop is going down. So that's my first stock. Second stock that I'm looking at for next week is Mara. Ticker symbol MARA. It's Bitcoin related, and Bitcoin went on a crazy run last week. It's high. Mara, I'm talking now. Mara's high, and it looks like it's starting to drop a little bit. You can see that it was around $14 a share, then again it doubled. Big gaps here on the way up. So, in my mind, Mara is going to go down. I think that the Bitcoin frenzy is going to continue, but next week it's going to slow down a little bit. You can see that on the RSI, we're very overbought. We were overbought before the run-up. We're overbought now, and it looks like it's coming back down to normal levels. We see on the MACD that the momentum is starting to shift downward. So my bet for Mara next week is it is going to drop. So if you would like to invest in it in the long term, which I think is a good idea, I would wait to see the end of next week, see where the stock is, and maybe buy the dip if it fills in some of these gaps over here. If you're just looking for a quick term play, you might want to consider getting a put on Mara. But again, after hours, similar to GameStop, the price is up. Perhaps you want to get a straddle for this as well. Stock number 3 is Walgreens. An underrated stock, very random. Heard about it on a YouTuber channel called Financial Education. He brought up some great points that we're on our way up. At the start of the whole Corona thing, you started to go down, consolidated, now we're on our gradual ascent. Not a fancy stock, not an exciting stock, but they have close to $1 billion of free cash. They recently sold off their section of their business, and with Corona vaccines becoming more and more popular, they're going to have a lot of foot traffic in the coming year. So, for these reasons, I think that Walgreens is going to be a buy. So I'm looking at it next week to start going up. Right now, it's a little oversold. I mean, on the RSI, or overbought, I should say. But I think that it's going to continue. It might dip a little bit, but I think it's going to continue. Use the MACD, there's a lot of momentum. It's starting to go down a little bit, but I think that it's going to go up by the end of the week. The next stock here is Canopy Growth. So Canopy Growth, for those that don't know. Sorry, I can't spell, I guess. Alright, Canopy Growth stock. So this is a weed-related stock, MJ stock, whatever you want to call it. And with the Biden administration coming in, and now that they won the runoffs of Georgia, they will have even more power. I really think that federal legalization is coming, if not this year, in the next 2-3 years. 15 states have it legal right now for recreational use. More states than that, about 30, have medicinal use availability in their states. So I think that an overall federal legalization is coming, and I think that Canopy Growth is the leader for MJ stocks. You could invest in ticker symbol MJ, which is the ETF for all MJ stocks. But if you were to look at one, which I am, I would pick Canopy Growth, because it's a Canadian-based company and they're already established. Very big company, very big name. They work internationally, and I think that they'd have a tremendous advantage if all the states were to legalize it. They're already set up. They can just take advantage of that. You can see there's big gaps. It's been running up recently, but I think it's going to continue to rise next week because Biden and his administration will come in on the 20th, and I think that's going to be a big signal for a lot of people that these types of stocks are going to just take off at least towards the end of next week. On the RSI, it's a little high, but that's all right. I think it might drop down, but stay up higher, but I think the stock's going to go up. You can see on the MACD that all the momentum is going upwards, so my bet is that it's going to continue to go up. Next stock we're going to look at is everybody's favorite, Tesla. So I think the reason for Tesla going up next week is that once Biden comes in on the 20th, very similar to Canopy Growth, it's going to signal people, and it's going to wake them up and make them realize that EV is now a thing. It's going to be big this year, it's going to be big next year, it's going to be big for the next couple of years. I really think that it's going to help push Tesla stock price up, at least for the next week, month, near future. You can see that we're at a consolidation period a little bit here. Remember, we hit close to 900, and I think that now it's going to break out. So you can see on the RSI, we were very high, came down a little bit, and I think we're ready to run back up again. Obviously, Tesla has no issue being high, being overbought, but I think they're going to continue to go up at least next week. Momentum seems to be going downward, but that could always change. So, if you know anything about Tesla, you know that it changes very quickly. Okay, stock number 6 for next week to keep an eye on, Workhorse. So we're going to go from one crazy EV stock to another, Tesla to Workhorse. You can see Workhorse has a ton of swings, crazy up and down price action. The reason why I'm looking at it for next week is because there's a rumor that by the end of January they're going to announce the USPS contract. And I think that people know this, and that coupled with the fact that Biden and the Democrats, the new presidency, loves EV stocks. I think this is going to create a huge momentum. I think it's going to come back on people's radars, and then once they learn that at the end of the month there's supposed to be this contract announcement, I really think that it's going to pick up speed. The only thing you want to be careful of is just watch, because if the announcement doesn't come at the end of the month, I really think it's going to crash down again. So, as you can see, going up, came down recently. The RSI is looking pretty good. We're towards the middle of the chart. The MACD is down. All momentum is going down, but I think it could turn around and pick back up. So my bet is that for next week, workforce is going to go up. Okay, stock number 7 to look at next week is Facebook. Facebook, this is a very interesting one. So, since March has come back up, slow increase, slowly rising, hit highs around 304 per share, and ever since then it dropped down a little bit when we had that big tech crash, and now it's been kind of just trading sideways until we had all the issues with Trump and his account. Then it started to dive down a little bit. So now we're at a very, very crucial level of, it was support and resistance right now. So that 250 area or so, you can see how many times it's been bounced off over here. There was a level of resistance and we broke past it. Then we came down, it was a level of support. Now it's looking like it's going to be a support unless we break through. So I think that this is a very critical spot. I think if it drops any further, then it's really, the bottom's just going to fall out. If it holds on towards the beginning of next week, I think that this is where we can see a bounce. So just keep an eye on Facebook for next week to see if it's going to fall, continue to fall. The fundamentals are not looking good because of the whole Trump thing. But if it holds on, I think that would be a time to buy. So for the RSI, it's very oversold. This is basically as low as it goes on the chart for Facebook, a little bit over here, but this is very oversold. If you look at the MACD, looks like the momentum was very negative and seems to be curling back up. So again, watch Facebook, see if it bounces off that 250 or so level. The 9th stock on this list is AMZN. If you take a look at the chart, they were down to 1,600 or so back in March. They went up to 3,500. Then they started to consolidate. There's the big tech sell-off again, very similar to Tesla, Facebook, and Apple. And they're just kind of trading sideways, but I think that this might be a great opportunity to get in. And I think that this week they're going to start to climb a little bit with Biden coming in. So the RSI is towards the middle of the chart. If you look at the MACD, it looks like it's negative, coming back positive. Nothing has fundamentally changed with the company. So I think that it just there's been other opportunities for people. So AMZN's been overlooked a little bit, but I think that it's going to start coming back strong. So I would watch them for this week. And the last stock on this list is FCEL Energy. So they make some of the components used and required by EV car companies. So this is a very interesting play, very interesting for this week. I figured I would throw this in as a little bonus. So the reason I'm adding this stock to next week is that they have earnings coming up on Thursday, and they're projected to beat their numbers, but there's no saying that they will do that. And also the stock has run up a little bit here. We started to come back down a little bit, but we're at highs of about $21. Also, the implied volatility is like 40% on this. So the way that I'm playing this earnings is last week on Friday, I got a strangle, which means that I'm betting that the stock's going to shoot up or shoot down massively. So my thinking is that either earnings go well and the stock jumps up. Right now we're sitting at $16 or so. I think we're going to jump up closer to the 21 mark. Or the earnings don't play out the way that in a positive way for FCEL, and the stock falls sharply. We're very high overall for the year. We're very overbought over here on the RSI. The MACD looks like it's coming down, but it's still high. So that's why I decided to get the strangle, so that if it moves either direction, we can profit for that. Now it's important to note that my strategy is for the strangle. I set it all the way in the future, so I'd have to look, but I don't remember. I think I set it for like July of this year, so that gives us a lot of time to work with. If it jumps up or it jumps down and I make a quick 20%, I'll probably cash it out, but that gives us more time to be right, basically. So that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this. Please like, subscribe, set in the comments anything that you'd like me to discuss for a future video. And that's about it, guys. Good luck.